welcome to Bando's World, and today we are on the Norwegian PERAL in Trieste, which is a city in Italy. So this goes to 5 different countries, this cruise, which would be Italy, Greece, Montenegro, Slovenia, and Croatia. That's 5 different countries. So let me cut to show you how we actually got to this cruise. So somehow we ended up in premium economy. So there's the controller right here and Tetris up here. What country are we in? I'll give you a hint. It rhymes with Schmiddly and it's in Europe. Okay, so we're actually by our hotel in Italy. So tomorrow at like 11:30 we have to get on the boat. But we're at a hotel just a couple miles away. Yeah, there's actually, you can see over there, a mountain just with all of those houses. So we're gonna get a little bit closer to that, but we actually had to drive down that to get to where we are right now. So you can actually see at the top of that hill, there is an entire castle. But yeah, you can see this mountain. I don't know if it's a mountain or a hill. I think at this point that you're seeing, it's a hill, but at other points it's a mountain. Okay, so I think it's pretty obvious that this building is a church. So there's a big church right here, probably pretty old, just in the middle of this town in Italy. I actually forgot what this town's name even is. Interesting. All right, so we found this over here. This is really pretty though. Kind of get a good view of this. I don't know what you really call this. But this, remember, this is not part of the cruise technically. This is just the place in Italy we went before the cruise. Okay, so this is not our cruise ship, but there is a giant cruise ship dock right there. And then we're getting closer to the beach. So like right across these cars would be, I think, the beach. So you can get a good view. This is probably not quite high enough above sea level, I think it is, to be a mountain. That's probably somewhere around like 500 feet above sea level. So probably not a mountain, but it is a very steep hill. And to me, it is just like a mountain. And we are on this whole dock right now. So you get a giant view around, and this is the ship. So this is just like a stone dock. Okay, so we're in our hotel in Italy, and we have our cruise to catch tomorrow. And you might have noticed that in the travel montage, there was no footage of flying into Rome or flying into Venice. And that's because we were in middle seats. Okay, so now that you know how we got here, we're gonna get to our room, and then tomorrow I think the ship should arrive at its first destination in Italy. So let's get to our room, get everything ready, and then go to sleep. Okay, so here's an overview from the boat of the Mediterranean Sea. And here's the pool area. So there's an adults pool and a pool for all ages. And this is just a look out of one of the ship's big windows, which gives you a good view of the sea by Trieste. Okay, so our room's actually literally the last one because it was on the sign. So it is way in the back, like at the very, very back of here will be our room. Okay, so here's our room, 656, 656. And there's like nothing else around. We're at the back. Okay, so we're at our room, and this is our deck. So we are still in the town that this cruise originally started in. We haven't taken off yet, but it's a pretty good view. If I drop my phone, there is a deck below, but I don't plan on dropping my phone. You can get kind of a view of like the mountains back there. I think that's a mountain. It looks like maybe 1,000 feet tall plus, because earlier I was like, oh yeah, that's 500 feet. That's not a mountain. That's got to be more than 500 feet. But yeah, we're in our room. So I don't know how, I didn't hear the departure horn, but we were walking around a restaurant and we noticed that we were moving. At some point they said like 146 passengers hadn't, there's like a thing where you have to check in. It's really weird. But they hadn't done that, and you cannot leave like that. And now all of a sudden, I guess they all got checked in. But yeah, just like that, we are now leaving and going to our next destination. So I will see you tomorrow. Okay, so now we're waiting outside the Norwegian PERAL for our bus to come, and right now we are in the town of Urbina. So when the bus comes and picks us up, we can go to our excursion. Okay, so this is basically the beginning of our first excursion. And you might notice these buildings with the half circle windows, and I do go in them later in the video, so keep watching for that. So the way to get into those buildings is kind of weird because you kind of have to walk around some buildings and up some stairs. Here's the buildings I was just talking about that you have to go around. So this is a view out of one of the half circle windows in those buildings. And there was a dentist office inside. And while we were walking along the trail, we found these rocks, which are apparently pretty rare and mostly only in Italy. And yes, since some of the buildings were old, they're a little beat up. There's also this church, which only gets used once on, I think, November 2nd. So yeah, I don't 100% remember, but I think it was somewhere in November that this gets used. Here's a pretty old brick building that's somewhat central where we came in from. There's also these hanging blooms, but I couldn't remember exactly what they were called, but they're all along these buildings. And here's what used to be a somewhat famous restaurant, but it got closed down in 2000. And then this church, which was basically the meeting spot. And here's my favorite part of the town, which wasn't necessarily on the tour, but it's this old fortress on the hill. And here's a clock up on the hill, which only has 6 hours on it. So I thought the tour was already over, but apparently there's also a restaurant included. So here are some nectarines in this nectarine grove. And up on the hill, there was even this little house. Now, this isn't the restaurant. You actually have to turn right to see the restaurant. But this is just a little building. So obviously it starts off with no meal. Then it goes to the first meal, which is this homemade pasta. Then there was these olives, this strawberry dessert, and then here is a look at the front of the restaurant we were just in. Alright, so as you can see, we are pulling in on our second country, which is Slovenia. So that will be it for today's video, since today's video was just on Italy. But pretty soon I should have a video out on Slovenia. Alright, well anyways, thanks for watching. Bye!